There's no way to defend it. The Fernando Tatis Jr. PED suspension is awful for the game of baseball, and it's just another immature move in his young career. Since his debut in 2019, Fernando Tatis Jr. has been the center of national baseball attention and engaged non-baseball fans into watching him play. A five-tool superstar like Tatis Jr. doesn't grow on trees, and his physical gifts on the field are truly special and were displayed right away. His rookie season was limited but special, as in 84 games in 2019, Tatis Jr. hit .317 with 22 home runs and posted an OPS of .969. He then built off his stellar rookie season in 2019 by finishing fourth in the NL MVP race and winning his first Silver Slugger Award during the shortened 2020 season. In just 143 games, it was quite obvious that Fernando Tatis Jr. was a league superstar and would only get better as time went on. I mean, he wasn't even 22 years old when the Padres locked him up long-term before the start of the 2021 season on a 14-year, $340 million contract extension. When the contract was signed, there was obvious risk involved, as the deal was the fourth largest contract in MLB history, but his first season under the new deal got up to an insane start, and through the first 3 months of the year, Tatis Jr. was arguably the frontrunner for the NL MVP award. By the All-Star break, El Nino was slashing .286, .364, .656 with 28 home runs and 20 stolen bases, and his OPS was over 1,000. The MVP award was his to lose, but a shoulder injury at the end of July cost him 3 weeks, and Bryce Harper took advantage of that and ran away with the MVP award down the stretch. Nonetheless, Tatis Jr. put together an elite season at age 22 and finished third in the NL MVP race and won his second consecutive Silver Slugger Award. 2022 is expected to be another elite season for Tatis Jr., but his year ended before it even started. On March 16th, he underwent surgery on his left wrist after it revealed he fell off a motorcycle during the lockout and sustained the injury. To make things worse, when a reporter asked him when the motorcycle accident happened, he replied, "Which one?" signaling a lack of his maturity. Anyway, his timetable is 3+ months following surgery, and a few weeks ago, Tatis Jr. began working his way back and even started playing in minor league games with a return to the majors in the near future. His comeback was put on hold when news broke last night that Tatis Jr. violated the league's PED policy and would be suspended 80 games after testing positive for clostebol. The suspension isn't only a huge blow to the San Diego Padres, who went all in at the trade deadline acquiring Juan Soto and Josh Hader, but for Major League Baseball itself. You see, over the years, Major League Baseball has lacked the star to promote as the face of the sport, and it looked like Tatis Jr. could be that guy, given his physical skills, charisma, age, and most importantly, his connection to the international market. Tatis Jr. has become one of the most popular players in baseball, and the league began investing in him. He was named the cover athlete for MLB The Show 21, featured in multiple commercials put out by Adidas and Dairy Queen, and joined Derek Jeter and Bryce Harper as the only ballplayers used as the sole focus of a national ad campaign from longtime MLB partner Gatorade. Not only does his suspension affect MLB plans to market him now, but long-term as well. It's very unlikely the league promotes a player suspended for steroids, and it appears MLB will need to find a new face for the league. As for Tatis Jr., his legacy, despite being 23 years old, is tarnished. He's the biggest name to be suspended for PED since A-Rod, and although he had ways to go, a Hall of Fame candidacy is all but over. On top of that, Tatis Jr. is now ineligible to play in the World Baseball Classic next year for the Dominican Republic, and it was very likely he would represent his home country. The reality is, an immature motorcycle accident cost Tatis Jr. 210 games overall. It's hard not to speculate what if the injury didn't occur, as it's probable the steroid usage was the result of his surgery and trying to get back to playing sooner. Whatever the case might be, the suspension has upset fans, the league, and most importantly, his teammates for his selfish actions.